Yay. So that worked. So we actually are like now running. So it's actually recording now.
Hello everybody, this is Green Shield Gaming here.
And if you've been to mine, you know Dragonfox. This video will be on both channels if you're wondering, and they pretty much will say the exact same things. It's just so that both channels have the collaborative video, which is nice. First off, let's start off this video right. All these rights of these artworks we're going to go over are made by this person. All rights go to them. Hopefully I can find their link to their DeviantArt and put it at the bottom of the link for you to check him out. Those are great, amazing artworks.
Yes, I admit they are great, and let's get into it. Now, the first fusion is, of course, the Mega Absol with the shiny Luxray. Now,
this guy, you can tell, is definitely going to be using possibly some electrifying moves as well as have a great speed set. I'm not too sure on the defense, but he can definitely tell he's going to be a special attacker as well as a speed type Pokemon.
not true. It could also be a good physical attacker. Absol and Luxray are good in that aspect as well.
True, and Absol is known for bringing bad luck.
So, beware the bad luck lightning.
Touche. Next, we have the Roserade and Gardevoir mixture. I think this would be a very interesting special attack Pokemon. It's not limited. I mean, it could be a defensive Pokemon as well as an attack. But I would see this mixture as more as a special attack Pokemon than anything due to toxic and things like that.
And with a typing, say, probably of Psychic and Grass, this could be a very dangerous threat. After all, Gardevoir's special attack strength.
It is really high, much less Roserade's and the defense.
And they have nice speed as well.
Exactly.
Next we have
Sorry.
Deoxys Speed Formation and Registeel. Now this is an interesting one because Registeel has a very good defensive stats in both its special and normal defense. Plus combine that with Deoxys Speeds being the fastest Pokemon there is, makes this going to be a very tough combatant.
You also have to think Registeel, out of all the types, if not the heaviest and the slowest out of the three, I'd have to double check its stats. Much less added with one of the fastest Pokemon, that's a deadly combination, especially being Steel and having such a high defense. Much less Deoxys has a relatively high attack alone.
Yep, even in speed form.
True that. Next we have Delphox. I probably say that completely wrong. And Miss Magia's combination. Now this Pokemon looks interesting to say the least. It is the stereotypical witch with the stick and powers and all that. But it does give a nice look as well as it's radiating what I would seem is aura or some kind of magical powers. Something like that. And does not have to rely on pure fire. But it does look like more of a psychic type than a fire type.
Yeah, but you have to also admit, it probably is a ghost type as well, given that Miss Magius is a pure ghost type. With that, it will gain access to such moves as Stab, Shadow Ball, which could be a very dangerous threat to anyone who goes against it.
True, but it does also make you wonder, especially with this one, would it have 3 different types or would it only have 2? Would it have Ghost and Fire, or would it actually have Psychic in there due to its psychic abilities?
The way I see it, this more looks like a Psychic Ghost type, which isn't the best typing. I think the Hoopa is the only one that shares the typing with it. But given it, it looks like it can also gain a special attack that can add fire to its typing, such as Halucha's Flying Press.
True. Next, we have Mega Deontay and Anguislash. Anguislash. However you say it. I say it differently from everyone. Don't take it offensively if you say it different. Everyone's different.
Yeah, we don't say everything perfectly.
Exactly. So this one, you can definitely tell is going to be a hard hitter as well as a hard defensive Pokemon. I just overall love the color scheme, and I really love how he incorporated the shield as well as the blade's hands into this painting.
Not only that, if you look closely at the bottom, you will see the tip of the sword. given that the Diancie would look like it is an actual crystal knight. What typing would you give this one, given Diancie is a fairy rock and Agaslash is a ghost steel?
I would probably say it's going to end up being either a ghost fairy or possibly a fairy steel type. I would go more towards the ghost aspect, as it does look like it could be more transparent, but I would still keep the fairy type, as Diancie is mainly powerful at fairy type moves.
I agree. The next Pokemon up is Gardevoir and Swanna. This gives elegance to both these Pokemon in their fusion, because anyone who sees Gardevoir and Swanna alone can tell that they are very elegant Pokemon. And combining their typings, this looks sort of like a psychic flying type.
Exactly. Either that or possibly a psychic water type. You just want to know secondary being water, but I'd see it more as a flying, since Gardevoir is actually well off with flying type moves. I don't believe flying type moves actually can do a lot of damage to a Gardevoir. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you get a critical hit or something, you'll do damage.
It does
overall, I feel like Gardevoir, as well as the Swanna, even though they may not be the highest defense, I feel like this one would have amazing speed as well as amazing special attack and attack.
I agree with that. Also, when I look at this creature, I am reminded of the story of the Swan Princess.
No, that's an interesting one. Alright. Next up, we have
Doublade.
Doublade?
Yeah, Doublade.
I always thought it was Double Blade, even though it's completely wrong. Dual Blade and Bayonet. Now, if y'all have ever seen me play Pokemon, you know I absolutely love Bayonet. Like, he was my absolute favorite Ghost-type Pokemon. Much less adding Dual Blade into there, giving him that edgy steel to him, as well as playing onto his Trickster ability, I think it's a great combination. And the way he incorporated them together makes it even that much better.
It looks like a ghostly knight. Like a knight that has passed away, but still needs to maintain its honor for its kingdom. Given that this Pokemon, I would say it would be a good Ghost Steel type Pokemon, with boosting a good defense as well as having a very powerful physical and special attack.
Much less, if it did have a move like Shadow Sneak, it might become even more powerful, as it does have that steel ability to it.
That is very true. Next up, we have Gardevoir and Chandelure. Now, this just gives a haunting elegance to Gardevoir, given that Chandelure's fire is mixed into Gardevoir's headpiece. I don't know if that's a headpiece or hair.
I would consider it more hair than headpiece, but I mean, it could be both. It could be both.
Very true.
I also think, in the subject of this one, I think it is very interesting, and it plays off the factor that Gardevoir actually does in some of the books, mangas, and possibly in the shows. I don't quite remember exactly right offhand, it's been a long time, but Gardevoir can produce little things of psychic energy in her palms, like most psychics can. And I think that's an interesting play off her creating fire with it and holding it, much less the candle turns on her actual headpiece does give her that more creepy factor, as if she is a death guardian angel to me.
That is true. In the Pokédex, Gardevoir are very loyal to their trainers, and having one that will watch you even after its death just makes it even more protective.
And creepy.
It's ghost, so to speak.
True. Next, we have an interesting combination between Altaria and Dragonair. Now, Altaria isn't much of an attacker, but his defense and speed does help a lot, and a lot of people use Altaria in their teams. Personally, Dragonair I've always loved as a Pokemon itself. Yeah, it may not be that powerful, and its final evolution Dragonite may not be too powerful, but I think overall, I feel like Dragonair should have been way more of a beauty Pokemon than overall a power Pokemon. But these two mixed together does make an interesting combination.
I agree with that, and I especially like how the artist incorporated Dragonair's long body. As you can definitely see how the tail extends outward, looking given more like a snake fused with a bird, which is how Dragonair and Altaria you would think they would fuse like.
Exactly. That's got to be interesting, just to be walking and be like, oh, hey, look, nice tail, and like 3 feet of tail and like 2 feet of body. That'd be interesting.
Our next combination is Goldeen and Milotic. Now, this is a beautiful combination, taking the Milotic body and fusing it with aspects of Goldeen, giving it its nice scales and those riffles. Yes.
Something.
Yeah, something.
Fins, I guess?
Yeah, the nice looking fins on the, and especially how the tail looks as well.
Yeah, it definitely would, even though it doesn't really give it a secondary type, like flying or something like that, it does give it a more elegant look, although it does kind of look closer to Arbok or Ekans, possibly Survivor, in the aspect that it does look a little more menacing, but still overall would look like a very beautiful Pokemon, and probably would rival the original Milotic in a beauty competition any day.
And that is one of the most, Milotic is known as one of the most beautiful Pokemon out there, so.
Pretty much. Although it's pre-evolution. So sorry.
Ugly duckling.
Pretty much. Alright, next we have Typhlosion and Entei. Now these two are already powerhouses to begin with. Add them together and you got yourself a psychopathic ball of fire. Now Entei has always been a legendary, and it's kind of known. Although, once you add Typhlosion in there, you get unpredictability and raw power. And this one just states and shows that that can be completely done and well.
Now this combination is going to be a pure fire type, given that both Pokemon are. But Typhlosion actually does have a wider variety of moves, like Earthquake and all that.
True.
Ultimately saying this could be a powerful physical and special attacker, combined with a powerhouse eruption effect.
Exactly. I would hate to go against this Pokemon if something like a Dark Ball was used against it.
I know. Especially if you combine Focus Sash with Eruption.
Ooh.
Or Choice Scarf, I mean.
Powerful combinations.
Yeah. Next we have Hydreigon and Spiritomb. How Hydreigon was already an intimidating looking Pokemon, and Spiritomb was the same with its ghostly appearance. This fusion, I believe, captures the aspect of both, giving that Hydreigon's 3 heads are now haunting spirit-looking creatures.
This Pokemon, honestly, to me, I wouldn't really want to see it in the game necessarily, although I would see it more interesting in different things like Pokemon cosplay, things like that, all over the place. As well as this Pokemon, I would see, if it was in the game, definitely would be a Dragon Ghost type, or possibly Dragon Psychic. But at the same time, it does make you wonder how something like this would occur. Would the dragon die and then Spiritomb take over his body? Or would he just naturally occur whenever they meet one, considering that Spiritomb is actually found in a rock, and Hydreigon is known for eating everything. So
I would think it would probably happen that Hydreigon actually ate a Spiritomb's keystone rock, and Spiritomb just possessed its new host body, given that keystone is supposed to be almost indestructible.
True. And Hydreigens are known to eat, like I said, everything. Alright, next up, we got Venutal and Darkrai.
Yveltal.
Yeah. Different way of saying it, okay? Everyone's different. Now this one brings up an interesting, different mix. Yveltal or Venutal, however you say it, everyone's different, is already enough a powerhouse and known for destruction. Much less if you put Darkrai, the king of nightmares, into it, it just brings death upon the lands. Although, I don't really see it as a death Pokemon, rather as one you probably don't ever really want to meet and hope is just kind of an urban legend.
Yes, especially because this is a fusion of the Nightmare Pokemon and the Destruction Pokemon. After all, Yveltal is known to cause widespread destruction and death. This would be an interesting matchup. We see the Yveltal has the main focus in the color scheme, and combine that Also, combine this new body, especially with Darkrai's immense speed. That would just spell trouble for anything that gets in this thing's way.
True that.
Next up, we have Deoxys and Mewtwo. Now, this is actually cool. This reminds me of a post someone did on, this is the new Mew 3. It gives Mewtwo a more alien-looking form.
Definitely.
Which combined with Deoxys, anything's going to have an alien-looking form about it.
Looking at this guy, I instantly, and I'm not sure why, and I'm not really much of the person to know, but it instantly makes me think of that person from Dragon Ball Z. I can't remember his name or anything.
Frieza.
I guess. Pretty much straight up look like an alien.
Yeah, Lord Frieza is now in Pokemon. This is now canon.
Oh boy. Anyway. With this one, you can definitely tell that he's going to be that super fast, sharp-shooting Pokemon. That's not really going to miss, as Deoxys is known for hitting stuff from very far away, as he did come from space. As well as Mewtwo is known as being, if not the most powerful Pokemon, as he was genetically created.
That's true.
Next up, we have Mega Charizard X, as well as Mega Aggron. Now these two are alone very powerful set Pokemon, but mixed together it gives you a nice steel, ghost, fire looking type. This one is definitely high on the defense chart and definitely high on that attack, but less likely you do give up speed, but if you got a lot of defense and outdo your opponents, you could win.
Seeing these two together, it just brings me joy. These are two of my favorite Megas, and the color scheme just runs with it. I see this being more of a steel fire type, and having just a tremendous attack strength with its defense. Like Dragonfox said, it will have little speed, but with that bulk and strength, it should be able to take out almost everything in the competition.
Exactly.
Now next we have Scolipede and Survivor. Now this...
I always say Survivor.
Now this is a cool combination. Survivor is one of my favorite poison types, and Scolipede has an interesting design. This one gives it a more elegant form. It still contains that look of a bug, but still has that snake appearance. I would hate to run into this in a dark alley.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. You definitely would probably not see this Pokemon used by a superhero or a good person in the game, but rather a villain. But it does give an interesting set and does bring up the question, would this Pokemon be a single evolution or would it have a triform like Scolipede? Also, it does make you wonder, is his skin actually soft like Survivor's, or would it be a more hardened shell like Scolipede's?
Given how I see it, it looks like it will be a scaly exoskeleton, giving it an interesting defensive stat as well as a nice physical attack strength.
Yeah, it would also be interesting if it did have an ability that poisons opponents upon contact, or simple ones like Poison Heal. Now that would be an interesting battle choice.
Poison Heal wouldn't happen because poison types can't be poisoned unless it's by Salazzle's Corrosive.
True.
Which giving Corrosive to this thing actually could work out for it.
True. Well, that's all we chose for today. We didn't go through a whole lot of them, and this guy has amazing artwork. Like I said, check out his DeviantArt. It is amazing.
Not just Pokemon, but of other things as well. It is well worth recommended that you check it out. Again, this is his Deviant page. Yeah.
We hope to see you in the next one.
Bye!